I'm not asking for much, just want your heart. I promise I won't tear it apart. You're bleeding now, you say. What are we gonna do now? I'll stitch it back up. I'll do anything for you, my love. I don't wanna own you, don't wanna control you. All I ask is when the party is over, you don't leave me all alone. I don't wanna worry, don't wanna be sorry for something I never said. Don't want your apology, you were supposed to come back home. Please, 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 don't leave me lonely. Your lips taste like regret. Is this all in my head? Cross my heart and hope to die. Was that all a lie? I don't wanna own you, don't wanna control you. All I ask is when the party is over, you don't leave me all alone. I don't wanna worry, don't wanna be sorry for something I never said. Don't want your apology, you were supposed to come back home. Please, 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 don't leave me lonely. Please, 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 don't leave me lonely. Please, 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 don't leave me lonely.
Hey guys, it's your host, Vinyl Man Jebb of the Jebb and Green podcast, and I'm here today with Quentin Marcus, who just released his new single, Leave Me Alone. Hey Quentin, how are you?
Hello, how are you?
Good, doing real good, and excited to have you on the Jebb and Green cast. This is our 50th episode, very excited to have you, and we're going to get right into the questions for you. And I'm going to start off with, what is your music inspirations? We'll get down to the deep side of what makes you want to make music. So artists or bands that you like?
I definitely would have to say I'm a very early 2010 pop guy. I am very inspired by a lot of creative minds. So like I would say like Lady Gaga is a big one. She's definitely my number one. Taylor Swift is up there, as well as like others like Katy Perry, Billie Eilish, just to name a few. And then also definitely like Michael Jackson, Bowie, Queen. They're definitely there
Those are all
as
great.
well.
Those are all great inspirations. I like Lady Gaga for her sense of fashion as well, and like just kind of sticking it to the world. You know, I love that. So
Oh, definitely.
that's awesome. So what was the process behind Leave Me Alone?
Oh, so the process. So I began writing the song late last year. And it definitely was this like piano ballad, this like slow piano
Hmm.
ballad, and I kind of wanted it to make it something greater than that. So around January this year, I went into the studio and kind of I had a vision of like a synth orchestra, which I called it like a symphony, which I thought was kind of a cool,
That's
which
funny.
was kind of a cool like little name for it.
I like it.
And so I kind of wanted to portray that vision. And now it kind of is here. So I kind of had to just find my sound, and it was definitely a fun process.
Sweet. And where did you go to record it?
I used my singing teacher's recording studio. I've been taking lessons with him for about 10 years now.
Oh
I
wow.
just want to shout him out, Rob and Tessa. Thank you for everything. Uh, yeah, so I mean, it's kind of just an honor to be using that studio after seeing it for so long.
Yeah, and then finally, I bet you the emotions were flooding full of like, I'm finally using it, you know, and that must have felt really good.
Oh, definitely.
What are your so what did you know 2020 was a mess of a year and all that. What did you do to stay creative during that?
I kind of definitely tried to pull from all these different creative outlets. I kind of tried to listen to new music, dive in deeper to older music that I already knew. Um, I kind of wanted to, I like read some books, I watched new movies. I wanted to just keep kind of all the creative juices flowing. So I kind of surrounded myself with all these creative outlets.
Perfect. That's the best way to do it. We'll switch off the music a little bit, and we'll switch on to more like what are your hobbies other than music? You know, sometimes it could relate to the music.
Definitely a lot of creative things. I'd like to be very creative,
Hmm.
like books, movies, like I just mentioned, as well as I'm a big roller coaster guy.
Ah,
Um, Love them. Like I'll travel all over to different amusement parks. Like bring me the most, like the tallest, the fastest, anything, I'll go on it.
and what was the most intense one that you've been on?
I'll definitely have to say, it's one called Steel Vengeance. It's not the tallest or the fastest, but it definitely packs a punch.
That's awesome. I'll have to check that one out. I mentioned before when we were talking, just you know, checking out some stuff after the podcast. I'll definitely be checking that out. See if there's any YouTube footage of it. You mentioned you like books. What was your favorite book?
I definitely would have to say my top one is called Leaving Time by Jodi Picoult.
Sweet.
It has this huge twist at the end. Um, I would definitely recommend it. It's like very it kind of just makes you think about different things. And I also have to I am a romantic, so my second favorite is I think it's called What If It's Us, and that's a good one
Ooh,
as well.
ooh. I'll have to check that one out as well. And you mentioned you were seeing some new movies. Any new movies really got your grasp or your taste?
The one I just watched was Cruella that just came out
Ooh,
on Disney and Disney Plus.
awesome.
That one was definitely up there on my movies to watch. I definitely recommend it.
Yeah, the
Um,
soundtrack I heard is really good too, and I'm big into like listening to the soundtracks of movies and the songs that they use and stuff, which is
the
awesome.
soundtrack was amazing. Emma Stone was amazing.
I
The fashion in it was also pretty good as well.
perfect, and that's that kind of brings me back to like you know talk about fashion and certain things. The album cover for "Leave Me Alone," or I should say the single cover. Oops, apologize there. The single cover, very much intriguing. What was the idea behind that?
I kind of wanted to dig deep into the song, so I
Hmm.
kind of took a look at the song. Um, and the whole like hook of the song is "Don't Leave Me Lonely." And I kind of was looking at that in a sense of kind of this inner monologue going back to the actual name of the song, "Leave Me Alone." An inner monologue of like when you're in a relationship and you're kind of like you want that person to stay on the inside, but then you tell them it's okay to go ahead and leave on the outside.
Hmm.
It's kind of that melancholy feeling, if that's even the right word for
Well,
it.
that makes sense. It's kind of like that emotional draw of like the intensity of both sides of the physical and emotional aspect of a relationship. That makes sense.
Yeah, and I kind of wanted to picture this like mental torture. So I kind of
Hmm.
went in the route of showing it on the outside, which was that straitjacket.
And where did you get the pictures taken? Like, did you use a photographer or?
Yeah, I knew someone, it was a friend's mom actually,
Oh,
that I did a whole shoot, and the one that I actually chose for the album cover was one of the practice shots that I took.
oh
So
wow.
it kind of, and I have been using a whole bunch of the other ones too. But it definitely is, it was kind
I
of
find
cool
that
to
funny
have
that like
that.
sometimes it's the practice stuff that's better than sometimes the actual, when you get into things. I've noticed that with just everything in life, even with music, as I'm a musician myself, and I've put in forth like sometimes my jams are better than what we record because it's whatever's coming out at the moment or whatever's there. It's really cool. I like that.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
I like that. So are you in college? Are you in school or?
This year I did take a gap year.
Oh, I got you.
So I'm like in between to focus on the music. So,
Yeah, and what are you going to college for?
if I do go to college, it'd be more music therapy, which is
Oh,
keeping
very
it in
cool.
that realm,
Very
which
cool.
is definitely just want to keep it in the music realm, you know? Music is just so
Yeah,
great.
that's actually what I want to go for if I go back. If I don't succeed as a radio host or a musician, I do hope to help others because it's just very important to me. I like that. I really respect that. That's awesome.
And through the power of music too, which just makes it
It,
even, it makes it that much
hey, it
better.
makes it amazing. The energy in the room just becomes this like full total force to wreck with, and it's just awesome. And it's good because people really need it, especially after the year that we had with everything going on. It's just really tough for some, and to have music is really what kept me going personally, and I'm sure as hell it kept you going as well from the way you're talking. And it's great. It's a beautiful thing.
Oh, it really is, yeah.
Do you have plans for anything next single or an album or anything coming up?
I have been writing a lot, so
Awesome.
that's very exciting. I don't have any plans set yet for like studio time, but I'm really thinking about it. I have a whole bunch of songs that I
There you
am
go.
itching to get back into the studio with.
Yeah, especially if you
So
have
that's
a
very
studio
exciting.
connection, that's one thing that you don't have to worry about. You can go in and be like, "Hey, I'm ready." It takes
Oh,
a
definitely.
lot of work though. Definitely something I didn't expect when I went into the studio at 10 Selden for the first time in Woodbridge, Connecticut, and I was just like, I got the songs written. I was like, oh boy, this is a lot more than just writing something. It's something
Oh,
different.
definitely. It looks very deceiving.
Oh yeah, I thought you just go in, like, hey, here's the song, record it, the parts, and then they mix it, and then they got their ideas, and then you gotta like, okay, we're gonna add this, and then all of a sudden they bring the MIDI stuff in, and you're just like, oh boy, what's this? And then so I do my own studio stuff at home. I have a whole setup now with speakers, and I got a little MIDI keyboard myself to do synths and stuff, and I've gotten into it, but that's like months of learning, and then YouTube's the best teacher. But it's nothing beats still going into the studio except my wallet. I'm just always complaining, but
Oh,
nothing beats the
oh
feeling
yeah.
of working with other people that know what they're doing. And shout out to Jeff Wilson of 10 Selden for really helping with that. But it's just something so different and so cool to be able to kind of, because you learn from everybody that's there and all the musicians that help you, or even just the people working on with you. And you learn your own writing process strengths and weaknesses too, which is awesome.
Oh, definitely, yeah. The whole just the feeling of being in a studio
Oh
is
yeah.
just it's better than being in like your bedroom or a
Oh, I
room in your house.
agree. I agree. Especially when my studio's in my bedroom and I'm like, I don't want to be here. Like, I want to move out of here. But no. What? So you've been writing for a while, and what made you decide you really wanted to get a song out?
Um, I think around towards I guess like November of last year, I really started feeling my artist voice. Like I've written songs before that, but I think this was like one of the first ones that I ever wrote that was like, oh, this is the direction I want to go in.
Very
So I
cool.
think this one was an essential to record, and I think it's a good stepping stone to start off with.
Yeah, you found your voice, which is sometimes it takes artists forever. They go through a million albums until they find it, and they've recorded and they're like, yeah, and then all of a sudden they get hit with like, oh, I should have been doing this genre to begin with, or style. And it's very cool that your first single is what you feel, and that could always change, over time, but at least it's there. It's there for what you feel right now, which I think is phenomenal. And
Yeah, it's a
again,
good first step.
it is. It only can get better, and you'll have some times where it gets really rough, but you'll also have the music, and that's what I think is really beautiful about music in general. And then we'll have to. We were talking about bands that you like and stuff, and you mentioned David Bowie. We'll have to have you on again for if we do a David Bowie sit-down band chat. We haven't done those in a while, but we love doing those because what we do is we gather people from all different walks of life in music, and we get like a roundtable discussion. So there's like 4 of us or 5 of us in there. We don't want to do too many voices at once. We try to keep it smaller, but we try to get like different level like artists. We did one recently for Fountains of Wayne with Tony, who's a YouTuber, and a buddy of mine, Eric, who's a musician as well. So you get different walks of life. So it's really cool so we'll have to have you on for that to talk Bowie. So you mentioned that, so wanted to ask you, what's your favorite Bowie song?
Oh, I would definitely have to say my favorite is Life on Mars. That's
That's a great song.
that's a solid one, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Man, there's just so many good to choose from. Ziggy Stardust, again, great alter ego. We talk about alter egos. Great alter ego is Ziggy Stardust for Bowie, and very inspired by that whole, like, I am me, but I'm also a different person. And I use an alter ego for my music, which is Jebb, and my radio. Everybody thinks I'm Jebb, but that's actually just the alter ego. He doesn't exist. No.
Exactly.
So
yeah,
it's
and
so
that's
much
what
fun.
and that's what I was kind of going for
Awesome.
with this single as well. My artist name is Quentin Marcus, and the alter ego is Killjoy, which I thought was it is a nod to Queen's Death on Two Legs.
Oh, okay.
So I thought that was kind of just a cool kind of thing.
Very cool. And hey, Queen's pretty popular. I think I've heard of them now. They're pretty popular. That was a good movie too. That was a fantastic film. But also, and it made me a Queen fan. So I like Queen. I like some of their stuff, but I didn't like them as much because I was just into more heavier rock stuff at the time. But I saw that film and I really got into like Queen. And then the Elton John film came out, and I've always been an Elton John fan. But I got even more into Elton John. And then the Sparks film that just came out that I just saw, the Sparks Brothers. Highly recommend it to anybody that's listening to this podcast going, I should go see that film or not. Go see it. Quentin, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate you coming on, and we'll keep in contact. Send me your stuff. I'll play it on the Unlikely Places Pop and Rock Radio. Anything that you got coming, we'll play it on our show. That's a guarantee. So that's awesome.
Definitely. Thank you for having me.
No problem, man.
I'm not asking for much, just want your heart. I promise I won't tear it apart. You're bleeding now, you say. What are we gonna do now? I'll stitch it back up. I'll do anything for you, my love. I don't wanna own you, don't wanna control you. All I ask is when the party is over, you don't leave me all alone. I don't wanna worry, don't wanna be sorry for something I never said. Don't want your apology. You were supposed to come back home. Please, 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 don't leave me lonely. Your lips taste like regret. Is this all in my head? Cross my heart and hope to die. Was that